sense of humor, where I can just tap into, which I think would really benefit this whole podcasting thing. And I also
Blame my
think
grandfather. He says, never take life too seriously. Nobody gets out of it alive. And
it's really that's that is this is so funny. I'm getting goosebumps now because I also was as I was preparing for tonight's webinar, which is about emotional resilience, I remembered, I sometimes bring in an example, and I remembered the quote from my grandfather, who said to me, he said to me, never get into an argument with a lawyer. Because they're trying to debate and so forth. And my example was or is that I did get into an argument with a lawyer. And as I was getting into an argument with a lawyer, I remembered what my grandfather said, never get into, and I thought, oh my God, I'm in it. I can't win this. So what I actually did, and this is also my example because we're talking about emotional resilience and calmness and groundedness, I just sipped it. I just said, okay, verbally, I can't win this. So I grounded myself, and I have sort of my grounding techniques. And I just said, I'm a tree. I'm really grounding myself. Let him talk. And because I shifted my approach and my way of being, and I calmed down, and I didn't, counteract because I knew my bets. And in the end, it all worked out. We were both, happy with the outcome, and it was a win-win situation. And it wouldn't have gone that way if I would have pretended I can verbally kind of, win.
I
No, I
can
couldn't.
compete. You see, that was conversational jiu-jitsu, where you remove the opposition, you remove the resistance, and he probably then talked himself around in circles, realized that he wasn't offering any resistance, but he doesn't want you to come back again, so he has to come up with a fair solution. So I think it was
Interesting.
absolutely brilliant. It was a brilliant example
Absolutely
of
amazing. I mean, you've just
yeah.
explained something that I didn't know. I mean, this was like years ago.
Hmm.
And I didn't, understand the dynamics. I just understood I can't win this game.
But this is where sometimes I often think, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a cliche." Well, it's only a cliche if you live it. If you don't understand the wisdom behind it, and you go, "Oh, well, I'll just say that." That's a cliche. But when you then listen to the wisdom, there's a reason. There's a reason this wisdom's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A stitch in time saves nine. It's a cliche. Great. Only if you don't do it. If you do it, then it's practical advice.
Oh God, this is really good. You saw the statesman. I mean, I see the statesman in you. Uh,
I'm
I
actually
don't.
really enjoying being the statesman at the moment, Jacqueline. I can honestly say to you that I really love it. I'm loving bringing, right? And I can see so much the archetypes at work here. When you said that to me, I can see the statesman. He gave me goosies because well, yeah, that's who I'm really being. I'm standing up into this archetype in reality, and
Yeah,
I didn't realize I was doing that. I thought I was laughing the other day about pirating uh, power from the politicians,
yeah.
um, and it's really
And
quite interesting how that
it,
works.
it is it is quite interesting. And again, I don't know whether we live in the exactly same timeline because I was listening the other day, maybe 2 days ago. I was listening to someone who is sort of in the jurisdictional system using the actual system, learning and really understanding what rights we have as a person. I don't want to go into it, but then using those rights by first learning to understand what rights we have and how we can use them, and how they've been used on us in ways because we don't understand it, and we just agree and go with it. So he's actually, what you've just said, pirating. He's using the system in the same way and winning big wins, because he's just also learning, what the system is about, because we're ignorant. We actually don't understand it. And he said as soon as he gets to someone who, even jurists and lawyers don't understand sort of these premises of this whole system, and it's really interesting. So he's also using this energy or the system to beat the system. And I thought that's really smart. But it does take he had to really, he was caught in it himself until he found his way out. And then he learned it, and it's just really eye-opening. And yeah, that is a pirate. That is a pirate, but he's using it for a positive purpose and outcome. And that's cool. That's also pirating. That's the
Well,
light.
I think so. And you've actually just triggered something else in my mind. You've given me another bow, a string to my bow on this, because I'm going to write about the McIntyre Centre being a human rights issue. This is actually a human rights issue, that they are being treated differently from other humans with similar degrees of disability, even that the way in which this organization has treated them is actually a breach of their human rights. And that's something I might just look into. I'm sure I can find a human rights lawyer. It's great. I tell you what, it's great. You got this thing, this organization. It's been here 60 years, Jacqueline, before they closed it down. It's 60th year operation would be now, writing for the disabled. Now, to put it in context of this, there are so few facilities here that will actually allow a disabled person to get on a horse. The benefits are enormous, particularly with autism. It unlocks kids. There's one particular kid who was going to the McIntyre Centre, and his goal was to be able to touch a horse. He'd been there many, many times, just seeing the horses. He was nonverbal, and just being there, and his parents could understand how much that meant to him. But his mission was to just touch a horse. Another one, who she's 18, so I know she went to another centre, and she was able to ride at the McIntyre, but the centre just does, it lets you near the horses. At the McIntyre, you can actually get on a horse. It's led, and you've got two volunteers, one on either side. And she's not been able to get there. She blames the fact that she's just got too old to ride horses now, because it's the only rationale she can put to the fact that she's not allowed to ride the horse anymore. They don't understand business. It's the only physical activity she could do. So her weight has spiraled, her mental health has gone down. And this is still happening today. So I'm passionate about this, as you can see. It's like really under my skin, and I'm bloody determined to do what needs to be done. And that, by the way, is real higher purpose coming to play in leadership. Where I have this belief that, and sometimes it gets too much for me, because I can, I should, because who else is going to do it? And, sometimes you shouldn't do it because you can, because it can get too much. But, that's how good judgment. This is where responsibility comes to play.
Yeah. It is. I think this is really also your arena where you read
leadership. So I've done read a lot of Gallup's information lately, and I think personally the most pressing issue in leadership and business in Australia is, I suppose, it's traditional, but it's worse now than ever, and that is the recruitment and retention of talent. And one of the things that's overlooked in this is that the difference in productivity between a fully engaged employee and someone who's turning up for the paycheck, it's like something like 70% extra productivity from a person that's actually not 70% at all. It goes from what, I'll have to look the numbers up again, and we can do that, but it's a threefold thing. So if you're getting 20% out of a disengaged employee, you'll be getting 70% effort out of a engaged employee. This means what? It means you need less employees to get the same work done. So in an environment where finding and attracting and retaining talent is the number one limit on any business,
it is.
And surely you need to bring your employees on board and make sure they're fully engaged. For 80 years of leadership experience between the two of us.
We probably could. My mama said that I was born like this. She said already in the sandpit I took on leadership, and what I got to see, it was my mediator. So I was mediating teams and we were doing fun stuff. So it was all about collaborating and having fun. And I remember a particular situation where specifically we were playing circus and everyone had a little act that they could do. And it was just about playing circus. And everyone was so happy, and we did. I wish that we could have recorded it. Everyone was just enjoying it, happy. That's my leadership background. That's
actually,
but that's the context.
When you think about that, if you can say that about your business, that everyone's really happy and content, everybody's feeling heard, then I'll guarantee you've got everybody engaged.
Yeah, we're playing circus. That's what we're doing at actually circus.
That's right. We're playing a circus. Yeah. With all that high level of skill orchestrated to produce an outcome which we call profit or whatever social outcomes that there are.
Yeah.
But it's true.
It is, and the thing is, and this was always my promise also in business. I thought, why couldn't it be fun? I mean, it can be hard work, and I've also managed this with teams. So I wasn't so aware that I was playing circus at the time. That realization came later, but basically that's what it is. Attunement with each other, which goes far beyond what we usually have in our professional environment. They operate as one unit. They can swap leadership at a flick like this. If they have a team captain, but if someone sees I now need to assume team leadership because of the situation, they switch like this, and everyone knows it. And they're not, on walkie-talkies or something. All the time, and all these sort of aspects I'm bringing in, and I'm going into what's called flow state, which is my favorite. But all these aspects, all these sort of steps, and I am familiar with flow state because I was a competitional swimmer, and this is when I experienced the flow state for the first time, and I thought, what the hell was that? And I won a game. I won a swimming competition. I mean, I won many swimming competitions. That was really good. And I won a swimming competition, a relay, where I was put in last to catch up, and I could see the other swimmer. I could kind of see the legs, in front of me. And how the hell can I
get a body length in the 100 meters? Yeah.
That's right. Get a body length, and I got a body length, and I won this, and it was like energy was coming into my body. Like my lungs were hurting. Like when you swim, never mind your legs and arms, more the arms, but when the lungs are starting to hurt. And then all of a sudden that was all gone for a few seconds. And I won this game, and it was like, what the hell happened? Everyone was stunned. Anyway, that state can be you know, often it comes by accident, but this is a state that can be induced, and it's highly, highly, highly productive.
Mm,
That's
mm.
my ultimate state, which is really
That's very,
like, you
it's,
know, it's a
yeah,
spirit, it's like a spiritual thing almost. And
that's what strikes me in this discussion is because I was thinking about the various ways of being and the discussion around them. Because it might, when you mentioned the topic, I immediately went to, I said, well, you know, you're going to have high awareness and you're going to have to be you,
yes,
authenticity, and
absolutely.
you're going to have to be like a rabbit as far as vulnerability is concerned, because you need to be instinctively reading the room the whole flipping time. And then when you just said that about flow and intuition, I think invulnerability would be the enemy, the complete enemy, because you would not be able. The thing about invulnerability is that you put a wall up, and that not only means that nobody can get at you, it means you can't receive signals from them either. So
That's
that's,
that's
you
right.
know,
It applies to all these aspects of
mm,
being. Absolutely. You have to be authentic, and that's easier said than done, as we all know.
mm,
Yeah, and that, you know, in the end, when you're present, you're in you're authentic, you're vulnerable, you're all of this, you're part of a higher purpose, and that's not about you. Then you can actually be in this flow state, and it's highly productive. And I think this is what's needed. Well, that's why we're doing all this work,
mm.
um, to actually, you know, to actually go through these times where we have no idea where it's going to get us. If we knew
Yes.
there's
So yeah. Mm,
if we, let's say, if we knew a war is coming, I mean, lots of people talk about war, but never mind. We have an idea what war looks like and how we can prepare us or do things. But what we are looking at in this world, it's like all very, very confusing. It's, you know, rapidly changing, it's exponential, and we don't really know what that new world is going to look like.
well, there's another set of topics for us. You know,
Here we go.
is AI going to lead to the extinction of the human species? Because there's no such thing as the truth anymore. And if you lose touch with the truth because people believe their own truths, we end up with a splintered world. That's not how humanity works. So that's
It's not. And then also, I think, is the hype worse than what it is? Because I mean, some people will jump on the boat and hyping it all up. And but the thing is, when we don't actually know, we don't
no,
know.
this is true. And then there's the individual's responsibility to find out, because you can't rely on media organization. One person that goes to one media organization for all their information just doesn't get it. So, for instance, if what's going on in American politics.